Welcome, friends. If history means something to you, please subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments which country or city are you watching from. Summer 1976. A family station wagon packed to the roof with suitcases and children pulls out of a suburban driveway at dawn. Destination, somewhere 1,000 miles away. Navigation tool, a folded paper map from AAA. Communication device, none. Backup cran, figure it out as you go. This was the American road trip in the 1970s, an era when families traveled cross-country with minimal planning, maximum uncertainty, and genuine adventure. The 1970s represented the golden age of American road trips. The interstate highway system had matured, connecting the nation with ribbons of asphalt. Gasoline was relatively cheap, until it wasn't. Cars were enormous, comfortable boats on wheels, and families had time, optimism, and wanderlust. But these weren't the carefully orchestrated journeys of today, with GPS navigation, smartphone apps showing every gas station and restaurant, and constant connectivity. These were genuine adventures where getting lost was expected, breakdowns were common, and the journey itself was the destination. Today, we're exploring what family road trips actually looked like in the 1970s. The planning, the vehicles, the unexpected disasters, the roadside attractions, and the memories that defined a generation's summer vacations. The quintessential 1970s road trip vehicle was the station wagon. Massive, boat-like automobiles with fake wood paneling glued to the sides. These weren't cars. They were land yachts. A 1975 Chevrolet Caprice estate wagon measured over 18 feet long and weighed 2 tons. It got maybe 10 miles per gallon on highways, less in cities. The rear section featured the iconic rear-facing third seat, 2 small jump seats where children sat backward, watching cars behind them disappear into the distance. No seat belts back there, no safety features. Kids would wave at drivers following, make faces, hold up signs. These vehicles had zero modern safety equipment, no airbags, no anti-lock brakes, no crumple zones. Seat belts existed, but were optional suggestions. Kids would bounce freely around the interior like human pinballs. On long trips, kids would create sleeping nests in the cargo area, surrounded by luggage and pillows. They'd stand up between the front seats, lean over to talk to parents. They'd lie down and nap. They'd climb over seats, all while the vehicle traveled 70 miles per hour down the highway. The alternative was the conversion van, a new phenomenon in the 1970s. These featured shag carpeting on floors, walls, and ceiling, captain's chairs that swiveled, curtains on windows. Some had small refrigerators and TVs powered by the vehicle. Vans were mobile living rooms. You could stand up inside. You could walk around. They felt luxurious compared to station wagons, though they handled like drunken whales and got equally terrible fuel economy. Planning a 1970s road trip meant spreading paper maps across the kitchen table and tracing routes with highlighters. AAA, the American Automobile Association, offered TripTiks, personalized flipbooks of maps showing your exact route. You'd visit an AAA office, tell them your starting point and destination, and they'd create a custom booklet of strip maps showing every highway, turn, and major landmark. These TripTiks were road trip Bibles. Each page covered maybe 50 miles of journey. You'd flip pages as you progressed, following the highlighted route religiously. Deviating from the TripTik meant entering unknown territory. Regular folding maps were navigational nightmares. Refolding them correctly was impossible. Reading them while driving was dangerous and ineffective. Typically, the passenger became navigator, holding maps, trying to determine current location, arguing with the driver about upcoming exits. The exit is in 2 miles. Which exit? There are 3 exits. The one for Highway 40 West. They're all Highway 40. These arguments were universal road trip experiences. Every family had them. Navigation required cooperation, spatial reasoning, and frustration tolerance. Getting lost was accepted reality. You'd miss turns, realize miles later, pull over to consult maps, backtrack, or stop at gas stations for directions. Gas station attendants gave famously vague guidance. Head down about 3, maybe 4 miles, turn left at the red barn, well, it used to be red, might be white now, then go past the Dairy Queen until you hit the railroad tracks. You'd nod, pretend this made sense, and drive off hoping to recognize something matching this description. 1970s cars were mechanically unreliable by modern standards. Breakdowns weren't possibilities, they were expectations. Overheating was chronic, especially in mountains or deserts. You'd watch the temperature gauge climb toward the red zone. When it hit critical, you'd pull over, pop the hood, and wait 30 minutes for the engine to cool. Desperate drivers would turn off air conditioning and turn on heat full blast to draw heat away from the engine. Imagine driving through Arizona desert, 110 degrees outside, heater running maximum, windows down, family sweating and miserable. This was problem-solving 1970s style. Blown tires happened regularly. Radial tires were new technology. Many cars still used bias ply tires that failed frequently. You'd hear a loud pop, feel the car pull violently, struggle to control it, pull over, and change the tire yourself. Every father knew how to change tires. It was essential survival skill. Transmission failures, engine problems, electrical issues. These meant finding repair shops in unfamiliar towns, paying for expensive repairs, waiting hours or days. Breaking down in remote areas meant walking to find payphones, calling tow trucks, waiting by the roadside. No cell phones to call for help, no GPS to show your location. You dealt with problems using available resources.
Serious road trippers installed CB radios, citizens band radios that allowed communication with truckers and other drivers. Channel 19 was the trucker channel. You'd hear constant chatter, warnings about police, smoky at mile marker 47, traffic jams, road conditions, weather. CB culture had its own language. Breaker Breaker 19 started conversations. Smoky meant police. Bear in the air meant police helicopter. Hammer down meant drive fast. Drivers would chat with truckers, get route advice, feel connected to a mobile community. For children, listening to CB conversations was entertainment. The mysterious trucker voices, the coded language, the sense of secret knowledge. Some drivers adopted CB handles, nicknames: Rubber Duck, Bandit, Night Rider. The CB radio transformed lonely highways into social spaces. This wasn't necessary technology, it was community technology, making the road feel less isolating. Howard Johnson's, the orange-roofed restaurant chain, was synonymous with road trips. Every interstate exit had a HoJo's. The restaurants served predictable American food: fried clams, hot dogs, hamburgers. But their fame came from ice cream. 28 flavors displayed in glass cases, more varieties than families could try in one trip. Stopping at Howard Johnson's was ritual. You knew exactly what you'd get. No surprises, no disappointments. Just reliable mediocrity that tasted like vacation. Other chains existed. Stuckey's sold pecan logs and kitschy souvenirs. Big Boy had the iconic Fat Boy statue outside. But HoJo's was national, ubiquitous, and dependable. Roadside attractions were everywhere, advertised by billboards for hundreds of miles. World's largest ball of twine, 87 miles. Mystery spot, don't miss it. See live alligators.
These were tourist traps designed to separate travelers from money. Families stopped anyway because they broke up driving monotony and gave kids something to do. You'd pay admission, look around for 20 minutes, buy an overpriced souvenir, take a photo, leave. The attractions were rarely impressive, but they became destinations themselves. Wall Drug in South Dakota advertised for 500 miles. South of the border in South Carolina became a roadside spectacle with Mexican-themed kitsch visible from highways. These places exist in memories more vividly than Grand Canyon visits because they were so aggressively weird. Families stayed in motels, motor hotels where you parked directly outside your room. Not fancy hotels with lobbies and room service, simple, cheap roadside accommodations. Motel rooms were basic: 2 beds, small bathroom, TV bolted to dresser, maybe a phone. Decor was aggressively 1970s, orange bedspreads, brown paneling, green shag carpet. The coin-operated vibrating bed, Magic Fingers, was motel staple. Insert a quarter, and the bed would shake for 15 minutes. Children loved this. Parents tolerated it. The TV might have a dozen channels if reception was good. You'd watch whatever was on. No remote controls in most rooms. You walked to the TV to change channels manually. The ice machine sat in the breezeway. You'd walk to it carrying the plastic ice bucket from your room. Getting ice was an adventure for kids. Motel pools were highlights. Small concrete rectangles, often poorly maintained, sometimes empty, but after hours in the car, any pool was paradise. Pool water was questionable. Cleanliness standards were suggestions, but kids didn't care. They'd swim for hours while parents sat in plastic chairs, relieved to not be driving. Entertainment options in 1970s cars. Look out the window. No screens, no devices, no tablets with downloaded movies. Children had books, small toys, maybe a handheld electronic football game if they were lucky. Mostly, they stared out windows, watching America roll past at 55 miles per hour. Car games saved sanity. The license plate game, spotting plates from all 50 states and keeping lists. Alphabet game, finding all letters in alphabetical order on road signs. Counting cows, counting Volkswagen Beetles. I Spy, 20 questions. Singing was common. 99 bottles of beer on the wall, sung until parents threatened to leave children at rest stops. Radio stations faded in and out as you drove. You'd scan constantly, searching for clear signals. Finding a good station felt like victory, but you'd lose it 30 miles later and start scanning again. For children, road trips meant hours of boredom punctuated by occasional interest. They learned to entertain themselves. They developed patience. They discovered that not every moment needed to be stimulating. This boredom taught lessons modern children don't learn: how to sit with your thoughts, how to observe the world, how to create entertainment from nothing. What defined 1970s road trips wasn't comfort or efficiency. It was unpredictability and adventure. Things went wrong constantly. Cars overheated, families got lost, weather changed plans, motels were full, restaurants were closed, breakdowns happened. But this unpredictability was the point. Road trips were genuine adventures where outcomes weren't guaranteed. The forced togetherness created bonds and conflicts. Families spent days trapped in cars together. Arguments happened. Who sat where, who touched whom, who was breathing too loudly. But conversations happened too. Real conversations that lasted hours because there was nothing else to do. Stories were told, family history was shared, questions were asked and answered. Children learned geography by watching landscapes change: flat Midwest plains, Rocky Mountain peaks, desert expanses. They saw America directly, not through screens. Navigation skills developed: map reading, distance estimation, route planning, problem solving when things went wrong. The road trip taught patience, adaptability, and acceptance of discomfort. You couldn't control everything. You dealt with what came. The 1970s road trip represented American optimism and freedom, the open road stretching endlessly ahead, the whole country waiting to be explored, armed with nothing but a map, a full tank of gas, and the confidence that somehow you'd figure it out. Thank you for this journey back to 1970s road trips. What memories do you have? Share in the comments.